Emma loved to travel. When she was young, she read many books and watched many movies about faraway places. One place she always wanted to visit was London. London was a city with many old buildings and famous places. It was a mix of old and new things. Emma planned her trip to London for many months. She read travel guides and watched videos. She also learned more English to help her during the trip. She booked her flight and hotel. She made a plan for all the places she wanted to visit. She was very excited to finally see London. On the day of her trip, Emma packed her suitcase and took her passport. She felt excited and a little nervous. She knew this trip would be fun, but also a bit challenging. Emma arrived at Heathrow Airport in London. The city was very big and busy. There were many people and lots of noise. She took a deep breath and felt happy to be there. The airport was big, and there were signs everywhere in English. Even though Emma had practiced English, it was hard to understand all the different accents. She found the Heathrow Express train. This train would take her to the center of the city. She sat on the train and watched the buildings pass by as she went to Paddington Station. When she arrived at Paddington, she needed to find her hotel. She had a map and her phone to help her. The streets were like a maze. The buildings were tall and looked both old and new. After a few wrong turns and asking people for help, she found her hotel. It was a small, cozy place on a quiet street. After putting her luggage in her room, Emma was ready to explore. Her first stop was Big Ben. She stood in front of the big clock tower and felt amazed. She had seen pictures of it many times, but now she was seeing it for real. Next, she went to the Tower of London. She walked through the old castle and saw the crown jewels. She listened to stories about the castle's history. The place felt very old and important. Emma started to feel hungry. She found a small pub and ordered fish and chips. The fish was crispy and the chips were tasty. She talked to the bartender, who gave her tips on places to visit and the best times to go. As Emma explored more, she met many different people. She practiced her English at a market where she bought a vintage postcard. In Hyde Park, she joined a group for yoga. She learned new poses and made new friends. Each time she talked to someone, she felt more confident. Not everything went smoothly. Emma often had trouble with the language. She got lost many times. The city was big, and she didn't know how to use the transport system well. One time, she took the wrong bus and missed her visit to the British Museum. The Tube, London's subway, was very complicated. The map looked confusing with all the lines and stations. Emma almost missed her stop a few times and got on the wrong train once. The crowds were big and moved quickly, making her feel stressed. But Emma didn't give up. She knew that these problems were part of her adventure. She learned to ask for help, even when it was hard. Slowly, she started to find her way around the city. One day, Emma was trying to find a hidden historical site. She met John, a friendly local who saw she needed help with her map. John offered to guide her. He told her interesting stories about London that were not in any book. He showed her secret places that only locals knew about. John took Emma to a small bookshop in a narrow alley. The shop was full of old and rare books. Emma found a beautiful old book of Shakespeare's plays. John also showed her a cafe with the best scones she had ever tasted. They had clotted cream and strawberry jam and were delicious. John's stories and help made Emma love London even more. They walked by the Thames River and talked about history and culture. John's excitement made Emma feel more excited about the city too. As days passed, Emma's English got better. She started more conversations and asked more questions. She even helped other tourists who were lost. The tube map, which once looked confusing, now seemed easy to understand. Emma felt like she belonged in London. She made new friends like Sarah, another traveler she met at a museum, and Tom, a barista at her favorite coffee shop. These new connections made her trip even better. The most important moment of Emma's trip happened one afternoon. She was in a busy shopping area looking for a gift for her mother. Suddenly, she heard a boy crying. He was lost and couldn't find his mother. Emma talked to the boy in English. She calmed him down and found out about his mother. She used her phone to call for help and stayed with the boy until his mother arrived. The mother was very thankful, and the boy was happy. This act of kindness made Emma feel very proud. She knew her English had helped her make a difference. As Emma's trip came to an end, she thought about all her experiences. London was everything she had dreamed of and more. The city's history, culture, and people had made a big impression on her. She had faced challenges and learned to overcome them. She felt stronger and more confident. Emma knew that going out of her comfort zone was the best choice she had ever made. The lessons she learned in London would stay with her forever. She learned about perseverance, the joy of meeting new people, and the excitement of discovering new places. With mixed feelings of happiness and sadness, Emma packed her bags and headed to the airport. As the plane took off, she looked out the window at the city below. She was thankful for the memories and the journey. She knew this trip was just the start of many more adventures to come.